Okay, everybody, we're nearly at the end of the 2-day marathon. Are you all feeling as exhausted as I am? Yeah? There's been so much information, hasn't there? My mind is reeling, and I had a lot of previews of this stuff. So when everyone's all gathered, the very first thing that I would like to do, other than acknowledge my co-director here, Diana, who's coming through the door. What I would really like to do, and they're all missing, where's Glenda? Can you send in the team? I would really like you guys to see the team who have taken this crazy idea that we had at a very late juncture in conference planning. In fact, we hired somebody who looked at what we were planning to do, looked at how long we had to do it, and said, "Are you going to cancel Christmas?" And then she left. But true story. But I would like to acknowledge all of the team. Jessica and Glenda, where are you guys? Come on in. That's the trouble with organizers. They're always busy organizing. Okay, never mind. When they come in, we'll acknowledge them. All right. Ladies, David, all of you, please, Kim, everybody, Ben, come on, Ben, Ariel, who else? Asusana, what are you sitting down for? Ruth, come and see our team, everybody. This is it. It's tiny, right? Tiny but mighty. We wait for the pregnant lady. Pregnant lady's coming too. Come on, Ariel. We really practice what we preach at Echo. Ruth, come on. We practice what we preach. We try and live what we teach. We try and live nonviolence. We try and live non-competitiveness but collaboration. We try and live really relating to each other from a place of compassion and empathy, and it is my honor to work with this fantastic team. So thank you all very much for making this all happen. And Sandra, don't forget Sandra. All right, so just wanted you to see all their faces. Amazing, thank you. It was amazing. And I'm torn because I feel like we've been talking a lot, and I would like to hear your voices. But then I also have some more things to say. And I know that we all want to get out of here by 4 o'clock. So we did do a little bit of feedback yesterday. And later on, you will have an opportunity to tell us your likes and dislikes, your revelations, whatever, on the evaluations. So I'm just going to talk a little bit, but I'm totally open to you hijacking this and standing up and saying what you want to say. Oh, blimey.
I think this topic and this passion, the way this conference came about is really you. I mean, I do appreciate everybody's contribution, but I really have to say that Louise held the vision for this day, and she had more people wanting to present than there was possible for a week. She was calling absolutely everybody she possibly knew and has them all lined up. So you should really plan to come back for the next couple of years because but Louise, it was really beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ruth. All right, so I know that all of you have been carrying somebody in your heart during this conference. I know you have, because I have. I know that there must have been someone, if not many people, that when you've been listening to the fantastic speakers, you've been thinking about that person. So I just invite you right now, I don't know if you're comfortable. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. If you're not, maybe just look on the floor. Invitation. And I'm imagining that there's somebody's image that's coming into your mind right now as we've discussed this whole area of developmental trauma, and we've looked at parenting. And maybe it's not your child, maybe it's not a client, maybe it's just someone you read about in the newspaper. But as you see that person in your mind's eye, I'm thinking myself of a line that comes from Shakespeare, from King Lear, and he talks about being a man who's more sinned against than sinning. And I think if we're to encapsulate what nonviolent parenting and this trauma and developmental trauma work has in common, is to be able to see that the people with the problems, including ourselves, they are more sinned against than sinning. This behavior that sometimes is so impossible to stand from our own kids, from the people who get in your face, from, dare I say it, even the mass murderers that you read about in the newspaper, and we're so appalled. But having learned all this stuff and looking at that person in your mind's eye, isn't it possible to say, this is a person more sinned against than sinning? And people, including Ruth, they joke with me and they say, you know, it's not all about trauma. It's not all trauma. Someone else said to me, you can't just say that there's any one thing that explains everything. So I'm really glad that Bessel van der Kolk said that developmental trauma was where attachment meets trauma. So now I've got two things to say it's about. But really? Really? Is it not all about trauma? I think so. I think so. And Ruth is a lot more brave than I am. I like to cling to the science. I love the ACEs study, because that first question that says, were you frequently sworn at, insulted, humiliated, put down? Because to me, that takes this out of the realm of the worst forms of child abuse and neglect that we're all familiar with and invokes compassion from anybody. This takes it into the realm of really questioning how we treat each other, and particularly how we treat our children. So I'm going to be brave like Ruth now and say, I'm imagining that all of us have experienced some form of trauma, some form of developmental trauma. And also that it's been fueled by intergenerational trauma. And I love those questions that came up yesterday when we did the Q&A, and a couple of people, 3 people I think, had said, well, what about racism? And what about the Holocaust? What about slavery? What about war refugees? What about forced immigration? These are all the intergenerational traumas that just add to everything else. So think of that person again that you had in your mind's eye. And now with that understanding, it's as if that person, you're looking at them through a camera lens, and the lens pulls back, and you see other people coming into that frame, other people you know. And then the lens pulls back again, and you see lots of people standing side by side, all over the surface of the earth. So it's not just, what we've been talking about is not just clients. We like to talk about our clients because that makes us feel safer. We're okay, and those are the people that we're helping. But actually, it's about all of us. And the really sad thing is that the system doesn't recognize developmental trauma. There's no diagnosis. We're talking about it because we're brilliant and we're ahead of the curve. But actually, you guys now know about something that most therapists don't know about. There is no classification in the DSM for developmental disorder. And there's a great movement, not just by Bessel van der Kolk and the Trauma Center, but by health authorities in the States and in the territories of Canada to get this included. And do you know what the APA said? Well, if we include that, we're going to have to get rid of personality disorder, oppositional defiance disorder, depression. And Bessel van der Kolk said, exactly, exactly. So it's a problem, because while there's no diagnosis, there's no accommodation for this. There's no insurance code that covers this. There's no accommodation made for this in the legal system when we're looking at the people that we're sentencing. You know, the lady who was here yesterday and was crying, she won't mind me saying this, she said in response to a blog that I posted on this subject, she said, well, I wasn't raped, I wasn't beaten, so what's wrong with me? That was her realization that before she'd learned about developmental trauma, she'd thought that she didn't really count in terms of people who'd been traumatized. And this gave her the freedom to understand, yes, I'm someone who's been more sinned against than sinning. So I'm much of an idealist, as you can see. And the other thing that people say to me is, Lou, you can't change the whole world. And I'll say, well, I'll give it a damn good try. But I was sitting in, I don't know if any of you know, there's a restaurant in Silver Lake called the Black Cat. And I didn't know this, but it's now a historical landmark because of the gay rights protests that happened there. And so all around the walls, there are pictures of the gay rights protests. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? The Earth has been around for 4.6 billion years, and yet in my lifetime, I've seen civil rights, I've seen considerable advances in gay rights, so why not believe that it's possible that we can teach the world, change the world, educate people about trauma survivors? Why can't we? I don't see why not. So, now this is where I'm really getting brave. I'm going to do a real Ruth Spiegelhole here. And she used to make me cringe when she did stuff like insist that we join hands and sang a song. I mean, I'm British, for God's sake. But I would like to invite you, if you feel comfortable, and any British people are immediately accepted from this, but if you would like to take the hand of the person next to you, that's not going to pull your arm out of your socket, and just want you to think again of that person that you've been carrying in your heart. Think about your own feelings that may have come up, your own pain that may have come up. And just give a little squeeze to the hand of the person next to you, acknowledging their pain, acknowledging their experience, and really understanding that it's not about us and the clients. It's not about us and them. We really are all one. We really do all experience the same thing. And we have to help each other. We really have to help each other. And that's why we at ECHO do what we do, because it's not just about helping each other. It's because we believe in a world of second chances, and we believe in the possibility of repair. All right. Thank you. So before you all rush away, I have the very lovely Asusana, who's going to come and talk to you about more goodies, more things that we are putting on.
And I'm going to hide behind this computer. So I was so moved by what Luis was saying, and we have so many programs here at ECHO to continue these conversations. So I'm just literally going to share with you some of the programs that are coming up in the next couple of months for you to continue to stay connected with us and have these conversations. Just next week on March 4th, Ruth will be leading a talk about our children's sexuality and how to have these conversations from when they're very little all the way to adolescence. I'm really looking forward to that, being that I have a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old. And then on March 15th and 22nd, we will be doing a classroom management workshop for all our educators out there to learn how to put this into practice in our classrooms. I heard many people talking about how to put this in our education system, so looking forward to that. On March 15th, Ruth will be leading a child and adult anger masterclass, or it's more of a day-long workshop series. It's a 3-week condensed into one day from 9 to 4, where we talk about the roots of anger in ourselves and how to support our children with their anger. Then on March 30th, we have a family dance party where you guys could come support ECHO and just come and have fun. That'll be March 30th from 2 to 5 p.m. So I invite you all to come support ECHO and just dance away. Then we have our ongoing community parenting classes for you guys to refer parents to come learn this philosophy, a 10-week class that we have on Saturdays, both in Spanish and in English. And you guys could give me a call for me to tell you more information about that. We have our Festival of Childhood that we have every year. I know last year we had to cancel it, but it's back, and we're doing it this year on April 26th. It's a free, commercial-free event for all families to come and enjoy arts and craft and really bring alive the nonviolence, one day of nonviolence for both parents and children. Then on May 16th, we have another classroom management, but more towards preschool, so empathetic preschool environments from 1 to 5 on May 16th. We have our weekend intensive. It's our 10-week curriculum condensed into 2 days. We know many professionals and parents don't have an opportunity to come to 10-week classes when, because of their work schedule for different reasons, where we provide this workshop a couple times a year for you guys to come to a 12-hour parenting class intensive. And that's also led by Ruth. Then we have our family mental health training on May 28th from 9 to 4 p.m. as well. That's just in the next couple of weeks. For the weekend intensive is May 31st and June 1st. It's going to be a Saturday, Sunday this time around. And now our lovely Glenda will take over, thank God.
And you have a sheet with all the information that Azucena provided at the right at the end in the back of your folder, just so you know. So we can end and send you home. Just one last thing. We have half-sheet evaluations for those of you who did not fill one in your workshop. There was a workshop, Melissa Sussman's workshop. That group didn't get to do theirs, so please fill that out before you go. And also your day 2 evaluation. And last, we really want to thank all of our volunteers. If you can stand up. We wouldn't have been able to put this together and have this conference without your help. So thank you very much. Yay. All the folders that you have and all the work that happened before and today, it was all thanks to them. So thank you. Please leave your evaluations and we'll see you again next year.